What's up, guys? Today is May 9th, Thursday, Acquisitions Day, which is always fun for us. So I'm excited. Huge shout out to everybody that is here and present. To everybody that's watching later on, let me know if you guys need any additional help. If you had any comments, questions after the follow up, always drop them in the community. We're always there for you. Huge shout out to Anthony and Tommy. Love you guys. Hay is for horses. There's a joke I love. What do gay horses eat? Hey. What do the lesbian horses eat? Hey. It's always fun. Anyway, I can say that joke. My brother's gay. Always fun. Anyway, where am I going to jump off into today? I want to talk about acquisitions. Next Thursday is our in-person open house office event. It is focused on acquisitions, so that will be the roundtable topic of discussion. If you're in town, you're available, come on out. It's always a good time seeing everybody in person. Today, we're going to focus a little bit on Sub2s. I'm going to have Jessica come in a little while, and once she's finishing up her phone calls, we're going to discuss Sub2s and how she approaches them, how she acquires them. We will break down one of our deals. We can do a bunch of different stuff. I also have a phone call that Jessica and I are going to call. It's a realtor friend of my wife's through networking, right? There's always networking. So Lucia, my wife, she works for Kane Title. She always has realtors there closing with her. She has one that wishes to speak to us. He's always doing deals. So we're going to give him a call. He has, I believe, a contract for sale. So it's perfect. I'm going to have Jessica in here. We'll analyze that deal. We'll see what he's looking for and see if it works. If not, whatever. We always make a relationship and just have a conversation. I'm also, after that, Jessica is going to step out, I'm pretty sure, at some time. She doesn't want to be here with me the entire time. She tells me I kind of wear her out, which I do to everybody. I'm going to then pull in Trent. Sorry, I have nicknames for him, and I have to think of his real name. I'm going to pull in Trendon, and we're going to do some calls. We're going to work some live calls. I had a bunch of leads that came in today, so we'll work them. We'll see how that goes. As always, if anybody needs anything, if anybody has any questions, drop it in the comments, and we'll jump right on it. If you have at any time, if during our discussion, if me and Jessica are talking about something and something pops in your head, just cut us right off, right? That's the way this works. Everything is an open discussion. Everything is completely up for grabs, right? So if anybody needs anything, if anybody needs a kick in the ass, because it is almost halfway through Q2, where are you guys looking at with your goals? Not too long ago, I was sitting here harping on how we're just started Q2. So we're already almost halfway through Q2. Time to take a check, right? Inventory yourself. Where are you at? Where are you at with your goals? Where do you want to be? Where you thought you would be, right? I got to fix the resolution on this TV. All right, what do I want to get into today before Jessica comes in? Sorry, sending out text messages. Oh, and also, we're going to follow up today on the lead from Tuesday when Jessica was in here, and we were talking to the woman who lost her husband. It was a probate. That was a warm lead that came in. We're going to follow up with that. She has photos. Jessica is dumping them into company cam, and hey. And we can actually give everybody an update on that entire lead. So that'll be a good one.
It's a pretty cute mouse pad.
I stole this from the they can't see it,
Oh,
so
okay.
we don't have to discuss my
It's
pink.
pink and purple and clouds. Very good.
I was bugging out because you kept on hearing the mouse moving around. So
Oh, do I need a mic?
yeah, we'll get you mic'd up. Let me do this. Be a real production. If I can find the mouse. Yep, we can go over that, Anthony. So I know you're talking about Sub2 starts. Will you go over how you're determining assigning fees for assigning Sub2 at all? We'll go over that. Watch out for that light. Make sure you duck. What's the cost of LeadZoll leads from Tuesday's call? Okay, so Tuesday's call, the one that came in particular was I know it was a Texas lead, but it would have been from their nationwide campaign. I don't recommend that, okay? I always recommend you to use county specific. So when you sign up with LeadZoll, you give them a list of counties you want. You can do 1 county, you can do 100. It doesn't matter. They don't limit you. But you put the counties that you want. That's the way you should do it. And when you do it that way, it's a little bit more expensive. It's $200 per lead when you do it that way. If you're doing nationwide, it's $170. So yeah, you're going to get a little bit less cost per lead, but if you're doing $170, you're going to get shit in bumfuck Ohio, everywhere. Okay, I'm just telling you that right now. So I always tell people, yeah, try to do your backyard, what you have access to with comps, right? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know. And just, you know the area better, and you have more connections when it's time to sell the property too.
I didn't
right?
move
You
over
can
yet,
go to all
Tommy,
of
so
these,
sorry.
Networking events and find
Scoot in.
buyers. So in your backyard, drivable, able to meet with the person face to face is always better. It's not that nationwide can't be done, right? Just your margins probably aren't going to be as good. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I would definitely rather pay and get those
And
leads.
again, so the average that I've seen, I've heard, okay, is if you're doing LeadZoll, and I'm only talking about LeadZoll because that's what I'm talking about. I've heard and seen about the average being 12 to 15 leads per contract. Okay, so if you, how many, 10 times 200, that's gonna be 2,000, and then you'll finally get a deal in. That's not that bad of a return. Anything under 20 is considered reasonable. And obviously that comes into your ability to close. So it, hopefully as you get better, you dial that in. Okay.
And getting those different strategies helps with that too, right? So if you're not purely wholesaling, you're going to be able to get more contracts, right? Because you could do even if it's a Sub2 that you wholesale, right? There's still more strategies there that can help you get more contracts. Versus just it has to be a cash deal. If there's seller finance opportunities or anything like that, even if you don't want to own it yourself, knowing those other strategies and being able to meet the seller's needs and in a way that your buyer will still buy, that's the goal.
So to answer Anthony's question here, no. What makes LeadZoll different than a lot of other lead PPL, pay per lead companies is they are not sharing leads. Okay, this lead is one-off. It comes directly to you, and they have a complete dispute process set up. So if a lead comes in and you find that it's not a qualified lead, meaning let's say it's already listed, if it's there's criteria for things, right? And they'll set you up. When they set you up, they'll go through all those. But if it meets that criteria, you just press a button and they will dispute it, and then they'll refund you and add the money back onto your account. The
So
way
you can
that
get another
they,
good lead.
yeah, and the way that they work is you front load your account. Let's just say you throw $1,000 in there, and your campaign will start running, and every time you get a lead, it'll just pull out of your account. So it's pretty simple. It's not like you have to have $60,000 set up in the bank and then fund it all, right? It just pay as you go. So
That's kind of the scary part about PPC is you don't necessarily know exactly what everything's going to cost. It depends on how many people click, right? So PPL is a lot safer of a way to get into a paid lead type system.
it does sound too easy, and I like it. I love it. I've talked on the phone, face to face, with the CEO of the company. He's a pretty stand-up guy. I'm not knocking anybody else, but they are my favorite on that spectrum. Give it a shot. Again, I'm not selling anything here. It just leads are leads, right? It comes down to how you're going to set them up. If you want to pay the cost and set up your own face and start marketing your brand, right, you're going to have a lot of upfront cost. The reason why they're cheaper is because they're just doing a generic YouTube ad, okay, across the country, and they're getting leads everywhere. So
That was one of my questions about them because we have different company names and different ways that people can contact us. So I always want to know when I'm reaching out to them, like, what did they see? What did they agree to whenever they called me? You know, if it's our Tim and Sarah Buy Houses page, then that's a little bit more personal, right? If it's our Acme Home Buyers page, that's a little bit more corporate looking. And I just like to be able to say, you know, they'll ask you sometimes, what company are you calling from? You don't want to mess that up, right? So I was really worried, like with these lead Zolos, what are they seeing? What is it that they're agreeing to whenever they enter their information? And they sent me, you know, a generic YouTube video that they're playing different places that then has a form to sign up. But it's just saying, like, these are the things we can do for you. We can buy your house cash. We can get you an offer quickly. We can solve those problems, you know. So it wasn't there's no name, right? No name is on there at all as far as the company's concerned. It's just, we're an investor, we'd like to buy your house. These are the problems we solve. So whenever they sign up, they don't have a name at all. So when I reach back out to them, I say, you know, I saw the information you entered online. I'd love to see if we'd be a good fit to help you with whatever the address was. And you can reference some of the things they said too, right? So if they, in that lead, said they want to sell without a realtor, you say, you know, I know those realtor fees can be crazy and you just don't always know what you're going to get with a listing, but those are some of the ways investors can help you, right? So just whatever it was in that lead, try to use it to build rapport and figure out their situation.
Yeah. They are one way or another. It's all marketing. It's all ads, right? They in particular are just using YouTube, and it's just a general, hey, we need help. It's a we buy your house fast type deal, right? So it works. I'm not saying the leads are home runs, right? We ran a campaign for just DFW, and a lot of them were junk. It's fine, but there are also gold in there, and it just comes down to another way to mine it. For us, we do a lot of PPC. That's the majority and the bulk of ours. But again, we do everything. We're sitting there, we're on Facebook, we're doing bandit signs, we're running PPL campaigns, right? So
We'll
for
send mail
us,
for some driving for dollars.
for us,
houses,
we're doing everything.
Yeah.
So we didn't, yes, I thought about running my own YouTube ads and all of that. It comes down to what works for you and your business. If you have the time, the energy, the know-how, everything about it to run your own campaigns, do it. Yeah, you can absolutely save money. But us and where we are in our business, just to try to get into that, just to sit down, have to film an ad, to produce it, to then run it, we're looking at probably $5,000. Just
And
to,
the research of where to run the ad too, I think it's just a company's dialed into that, right? That's their sole thing that they do. So I think they're going to do it better than how we do it, you know?
yeah, we run our own PPC, and
Yeah.
PPC, I want to say, is simple, right? Where it's you set up a landing page, right? You set up your carrot, and then you're just running money to put that in the forefront of the search, okay? Whereas when you're doing YouTube and stuff, you actually have to produce some form of content, something to be, all right, a face, and then get it out in front of people. One way or another, you're going to spend money. We couldn't beat $200 a lead. So I was like, all right, well, it might as well. It's hiring that person in-house. Now, if we start scaling and then I want to bring that inside, yeah, well, later on, I can always do the Alex Hermosi thing and find out what works and bring that inside,
In-house.
right? Again, when you're first starting up, use the services until you realize that you don't need that service anymore, and then you can do it in-house.
Sub2s?
Yeah. I was just going through. I was seeing if Anthony had any more questions.
I could definitely talk about the assignment fee portion of it too.
Oh, you had to go back to his original
Yeah.
question, right?
And then I do want to point out something you said, Anthony, about I might run into people without equity. Like, I love that you said that about a Sub2 because too many investors try to shove Sub2 like down the person's throat whenever it's not a good fit, right? The only time I pitch Sub2 is when it's like the only option, right? The only thing that can solve these problems that you have is going to be this route. I know it's not ideal. These are the negatives to it, right? And whenever you share the negatives of a strategy, that really builds confidence in you as a salesperson from the homeowner, because they don't feel like you're trying to hide anything from them or paint a picture of everything's perfect, right? So talking about their debt to income being affected moving forward, that sort of thing, I really think helps them feel confident in the process more so than if they discover that on their own or ask you about it and then you share that information, right? Like, I'd rather proactively say, like, I do think this is the best option for you for these reasons, whatever they're going through, and then say there are negatives to this and this is what they are, right? Talking about their debt to income and trying to buy a house moving forward. We do have lenders who know what this strategy is and can sometimes help more so than just your traditional lender who doesn't understand or might not understand that the homeowner is no longer responsible for those payments with their debt to income. And we're here to help. Anytime you're doing real estate, you should come back to us first before you try to do anything else. Talking about bankruptcy, talking about all of those pieces that could negatively affect a Sub2 really helps them understand what the process is, the negatives of it, and that you're there to help them.
How do you calculate? Trying to pick and choose how to word this question. Not the dispo price, right? I don't want to say that, but how do you calculate what we're gonna make on a deal that it's an acceptable deal, right?
Yeah,
Let me put it
for
that
us.
way. Yeah.
So for our Sub2 criteria, the ones we want to hold on to, we want to be making $500 a month or more. Standard. If there's some really great asset where we're making $200 a month, that might be one that we look at too, right? But standard, we want to be making $500 a month from their PITI to what we could rent the property out at. You can also wrap them if it's not an FHA loan. It's,
That's the highlight.
Don't do it FHA wraps. It's no go. Don't do that. But if we could wrap it and be profiting $500 a month or more, then that's another option that we look into. But rental is really what we prefer because the whole point of a Sub2 is you've got that asset. It's going to keep getting equity over time. You can sell it in 7 years. You could sell it in 30 years, right? Whatever it is. but it needs to be still producing money for you in the meantime, for our business.
And we
right?
usually say that we like to recoup whatever the initial is. We try to do that in 12 months, right? To
Yeah.
calculate that. So if you're putting $12,000 in, you better be cash flowing $1,000 a month, in a sense.
Yeah, so that's when you're looking at your repairs needed, and if you can pay the seller any sort of, fee to help them move at the beginning, $5,000, $500, right? It just depends on the seller's situation. $1,000 is a lot to a lot of people. And so $1,000 to help you move, you're no longer responsible for these payments. We're going to get you caught up or whatever it is. A lot of times gets the deal done.
And when it comes down to the negotiations, I was saying this on that call with Brittany's group last week. All these cash for keys scenarios where you're paying first 2 months and first 2 months security and then plus 1 month on top of that. So, $5,000 cash here we're talking about. That doesn't have to be paid directly to that tenant or that person moving, right? It can be paid directly to the rental, so the cash doesn't have
to the landlord.
Yeah,
the landlord
to the
is,
future landlord, the future apartment complex, right? It doesn't have to go directly to that person. So using cash for keys as a negotiation tactic can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't actually have to mean physical cash in their hand, right? You can pay it off by just helping them move, right? Now, typical movers might cost them $2,000, but if you know some guys that get it done for 500, now again you're paying and it's cash for keys. So just different ways to save.
Yeah, I would never want to give them cash without them actually being out of the house.
Yeah, that's
to them directly, right? If it's to someone else that's helping them with that process, like the landlord of the next place or the movers, I'll give them cash directly prior to the actual move out. But if it's a cash for keys with the tenant, like, I need the keys in my hand. I need you out. You've got somewhere else to go. You're not going to be coming back here. I'm changing the locks, right? Then you can have your cash.
Yeah. That was one of the questions that one of Brittany's agents asked was, well, how do you help them? How do you get them out if a lot of times they need money to move and stuff like that? Do you give it directly to them? And no, you try not to. You solve their problems. Now, if their problems are they're leaving all this junk and you have all these resources to get those things and check them off a list in a sense, but you don't have to give them money. Cash isn't going to solve their problem, right? They got into this a lot of times because of money. So putting money in their hands isn't solving any of their problems. I have to make a quick phone call, and I needed you in the room. So Lucia has a realtor friend. By realtor friend, I mean client, and yada, yada, yada. Do you want to call from your phone?
Okay.
This way you are point of contact.
Okay. Oh, we got a lead.
I'll say, I'll tell him that I'm on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
He knows who I am. But supposedly he has a deal and everything, so.
Good. Sorry, I had a bunch of texts that I had to get caught up on. Okay. Tony already texted me. Mm-hmm. That's what I was looking at.
Hello, you have reached Armand Christopher. Please leave your name and number of time you called, and I will return your call as quickly as possible. Thank you for calling.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Armand. I got your information from Lucia Sicilian, and I just wanted to reach out. I'm a real estate investor and do acquisitions for TNT Property Solutions, and she said we might be a good fit to make some money together in the future. So give me a call back. My phone number. Let's see. Let me text him. Sorry.
I muted it.
Oh. But Anthony can call me. It's okay. I just thought it was like going to YouTube.
I'm just,
I didn't know that it was like.
it's fine. I know you were really sensitive about your phone number getting out there.
Oh, he texted me. He said, "Sorry, I can't talk right now."
Ah, perfecto.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good realtor. When they don't just leave you hanging. Did we have a last name for this guy?
Armand?
Uh-huh.
Armand.
Armand the realtor. Okay. Okay. All right. Sub-twos? Back to sub-twos, right? Okay. So whenever a sub-two doesn't fit our criteria, I already tell them that I think I can find them another investor who their house would be a good fit for, right? So
just so to clarify, I'm sorry. You're talking about if it's still a potential sub-2 deal for somebody else, just doesn't meet our criteria, you're saying, right? So in this case, it's where we're gonna wholesale it. Okay, sorry. Now I understand. Keep going.
yeah. So when we're going to wholesale the sub-2, oh my God, a stalker. Okay. So I already let them know in advance, like there is this strategy. It's a creative way that we can purchase your home where we keep the mortgage in your name. You know, that mortgage is what's valuable to us because it's got a great interest rate. It's better than what we could get right now. And from a realtor, or from a investor perspective, we don't have to put $400,000 out right now. We can just do the payments over time. And so that's why it's beneficial for us. And then these are the reasons why it's beneficial for you, whatever those are, right? You're about to be foreclosed on, or, you know, you're going to have to pay money to sell your house. That's the most common one. People who bought their house in 2021, 2022, when it was top of the market, they're in a new build community where they're still building new houses, and now those new houses are going for less than they bought theirs for, right? So you're just in a bind, right? If you went to sell your house, you're going to have to pay. One of the ladies who called me Tuesday, she would have to pay $60,000 to sell her house. Yes, just to walk away. And they're getting divorced. So like she can't stay there, you know? So that's a scenario where I would pitch this, right? I don't want to force it on somebody. The situation has to be right for a sub-2.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to highlight also, we're now in a market where, I could choose my words here, you can kind of, I don't want to say twist the knife, but you can kind of put leverage on the fact that, hey, listen, they don't have the option of staying and appreciating and you know, time fixing their
Waiting it out.
Yeah, exactly, right? So they really, you really are in a jam. I am your only hope here. Let me help you, right? It's not, you can ignore it. You can't bury your head in the sand, that type of deal anymore. So,
yeah. So whenever it's a scenario, so like that one that I talked to on earlier this week, her payments are exactly the same as what rent would be. And so that's not a good house for us. It's not our criteria of what we would want. Some people, though, love that. I would love to buy a house for them, from their perspective. They would love to buy a house for only $3,500 a month, right? And I've got a house. And even if that house loses some money, right, over the long run, it loses some money monthly, right, whenever you factor in taxes and insurance and holding costs, all that stuff, right? Even if it loses some money monthly, I can write that off for my taxes as a real estate investor. And eventually it is going to make me money. You know, I'll keep renting it out for a while just to keep those costs where they are, right? Not increasing, hopefully decreasing. Hopefully you can rent it for more eventually, right? But having that asset is what they really want. So it works for some other investors, just not for us.
And a lot of times, I don't want to say newer investors, but people, let's just say 9-to-5ers, right? If they're trying to look and pick up a rental here and there, that's kind of like a perfect rental property for somebody that has a full-time income, full-time job. They don't need the offset right off the bat. They just need to start stacking rentals like bars of gold. That's a perfect property for them, right? Where
They're looking more long term,
It's going to
right?
break even, but in 7 years they can sell it and then pick up 2 or 3 more properties. And during that entire wave, they had, tax write-offs nonstop and depreciation to write off and all this fun stuff. So it just comes down to doing it for your business.
So I had that conversation with her about, it wouldn't be a good fit for our company, but I do know some other companies I think it could work for. I think I can get you this agreement, whatever we agreed on, but from another investor, if you give me, 2 weeks and I'll know for sure. That sort of conversation with the seller. And then you're not saying it's a done deal either. And I think that's important anytime you're not 100% confident in a wholesale deal, is that you say, I'm going to try,
Are you, I'm trying to think, like, how are you phrasing it? Like, are you using any fancy wording, right? Or no?
I never say Sub2, right? Like that's never.
Do you use creative financing?
I know. I do say, like, I do have another creative option for you if you're open to hear it, right? So I usually say my cash number. So here's my cash number. And then if we listed it, it'd be this. Or if, the brokerage that we partner with listed it, it'd be this. But both of those options, you'd have to pay money to sell your house. And no one should ever have to pay money to sell your house. Who has that kind of money ready lying around that they want to pay to just be out of something, right?
Especially when they have other pain points such as divorce or probation. Yeah, probation.
That's expensive.
Yeah,
I've heard.
that is too. That sucks. You got kids. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked on kids.
No, that's all right. So I talked to him about not wanting to pay money to sell the house. This is my best option. I think it would fit really well for you. Or I'd say, but would you be open to hearing another creative option? I think it could be good for you, right? And then they'll agree, and then I'll be able to tell them. So the more agreements you can get in your conversation, the more likely they are to agree throughout, right? So if you can get some agreements in little baby chunks along the way, then it leads to a better conversation moving forward.
Did you make the cash offer on the 105%? Okay. So you're you're always anchoring them low, obviously. You're giving them that, hey, listen, this would be that embarrassingly low offer. But we also have, and so I see it. I love ice cream, Anthony.
Nick has an ice cream problem.
I do.
Like he has a special bowl for ice cream. I didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, it has to be. The bottom doesn't spread out. Stuff.
I don't know.
Don't get me sidetracked. Ice
He knew
cream.
it.
God damn it. My nipples are hard now.
I think we have some in the freezer.
I know we do. It's
Excited?
French vanilla. Can't have that for lunch. We'll have that next Thursday at the open house.
Yeah.
We'll break open the ice cream.
Ice cream and whiskey float.
Oh my God! We'll
Sounds
kill the
terrible.
ship again.
Sounds absolutely terrible.
We have to refill the ship.
Refill the ship. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's still a deal for somebody else, right? So like that scenario, not a deal for us, but I do think it's a deal for someone else. I tell them, I'd like to get this taken care of for you. I think I can. Would you be willing to give me 2 weeks to try? Usually they say yes, because at that point I'm their only option, right? We already exhausted all the other options that they had. I'm what they should go with. And it's a quick turnaround, right? I don't want to say, give me a month. I don't want to say, give me 2 months, right? It's gotta be quick, or they're not going to agree to it. And then figuring out what to ask for that assignment is the next challenge, right? So we always shoot for 20K or higher, like on all of our deals. Like that's just, we should be trying for that. If it doesn't get to that, or if we need to lower those asking prices, we will. But whenever it's a Sub2 deal, you really have to think about the investor's buy-in number, right? So if it's a foreclosure that has $25K in arrears that has to be paid before you even get to start making your monthly payments of that for that house, and if the house isn't cash flowing, and I've already got to pay $25K, and then I'm going to ask you for another $20K on top of that and closing costs and fees, that's going to be unreasonable for the end buyer. It's just not a good deal anymore, because if it's not cash flowing and I have to put 45K up front, like, when am I going to recoup that 45K? Because it's not going to be for 7-10 years down the road, right? It's just a very big investment to purchase a house, because if I had 45K, I could just go buy my own house, right? Like, I don't need to do this Sub2 process.
Yeah. You don't need to take over somebody else's headaches and do all the paperwork and stuff. So, we've run into those deals all the time. I can probably pull up not Facebook Marketplace, but the groups, and just go through. We can go through the creative financing group and find 10 of them, I promise you, in less than an hour, that none of them make sense. The entry fees are way too high. It's not even cash flowing afterwards. Like, none of them make sense. Yeah. And the thing that pisses me off is that seller, it doesn't make sense. The offer should never have been made. That seller has now agreed to it. They're banking on it because they need that wholesaler, in this case, that doesn't know how to do acquisitions properly or understand the full realm of a deal, that now they're failing to complete that contract, right? That now is
maybe they said they're going to try.
That wholesale
if they
deal.
Said they were going to try.
A couple weeks ago, that wholesale deal that was a Sub2, and I called the guy to ask him how it made sense, and then he called me back and he's like, "Oh yeah, I had to drop that deal." No shit, you had to drop it. You should never have gotten under contract to begin with. It just blows my mind. It pisses me off. Yeah. Which also, as an acquisitions technique, if you're not doing it, you easily and you should do, start calling brokerages. If you have time off, just call brokerages and make yourself well known. And just, are there any new agents there that are working with people? Yada yada yada. I would love to. I'm an investor. I can get deals done. Just get your name out there, right? Mm-hmm. That is this guy that we just talked to from, well, not that we talked to, she's gonna text. He's an agent, and he comes across deals. People reach out to agents a lot of time because they want to skip over the investors, but they don't realize the investor is the one that solves problems. So it's all about networking.
Yep.
That was a very long run-on rant.
So I think as the acquisitions person, it's really important to know what people's exit strategies are, or what other investors are doing to make money on properties, right? So I know, maybe as a rental, this one doesn't make sense, but as a wrap, it could, right? So selling the property to another end buyer who, instead of these $3,500 a month payments, they're going to pay $4,500 a month. And so my profit is in that gap. Right, that's an option as long as it's not an FHA loan for an investor to make money on this property. So if it's something like that, I think I can charge a higher assignment fee than if it's one that's not going to cash flow, right? Or doesn't have those options. I see a lot of investors send out deals that are based on short-term rentals. Like, it has to be a short-term rental or it has to be a pad split to make sense. And I don't want to depend on that, right? So the property should make sense as a long-term rental or as a wrap deal. And if it doesn't, if you have to get more creative than that, then it just makes me really nervous about finding the end buyer for that.
Because also, anytime you pigeonhole yourself into those things, it takes nothing but the city to come in and shut you down. And then you're really screwed, right? Oh, I can't have 9 bedrooms in this house? No. Anthony said, so if you take the Sub2 to yourself, then sell the note. I'm just trying to think about all exit strats and how I can best serve a seller while making a profit. So I'll let you talk because I feel like you were about to.
Oh, go ahead.
So I was just going to differentiate, right? Hard line in the sand. Right, you have to realize the Sub2 is the acquisitions process, and then whatever you're doing with it is a secondary process. Whether or not you're sub-2ing as an acquisition and you're just putting it on the books and you're keeping it, that's one pattern, right? Or if you're going to wholesale it to make a profit, right? So,
I think he's talking about the wrap.
yeah,
So what you're talking about
on
is
the wrap side, if that's what you're discussing, then yeah, on that one, yeah, we're selling the paper is what we would be doing.
Yeah. So, not. I wouldn't describe it that way. Like, because we're holding on to the paper.
All right, well, all right, yeah,
But
yeah,
we're
right.
selling a new note, and that new note wraps that original note, right? Like it covers everything, the payments here on this
you're
original one that's
creating
wrapped
paper and
with
then
the
you're
other
selling
one.
paper. So the original loan of 4%, right? Let's just say that's here. You're coming in and you're putting 12% on top of it, and then you're gonna sell that to somebody, and then that person's gonna pay the 12%, and then you're making the difference, right? You can keep that entire thing forever, or you can now take that and then sell that note that you created. That's an additional investment strategy, right? So you're just getting layers and layers and layers down there. You can do all of this without a sub-2, right? So it's just the disposition part of it, right? So that's why I was drawing a line in the sand, because all of the disposition strategies you can pair up with any way you acquire a property. So fun part about me being an investor.
There's lots of creative options. So it's like you said, just trying to figure out how to best serve the seller and then making a profit too. Yeah, you're 1000% right there. When I'm selling the sub-2 contract, right, just wholesaling the sub-2 that I've put together, that is when we do that novation indemnification agreement. So that way, liability wise, we're not tied to it anymore, right? So if the end buyer, who I found, the investor who's going to take over this sub-2, pay me my assignment fee, if they ended up defaulting on the underlying loan, then there are legal repercussions that the seller can have against that end buyer. But if we do the novation indemnification agreement, then they can't come after us. I mean, I guess everybody can try, right? You can always try to come after whoever you want. But with that novation indemnification agreement, it takes us out of the deal and it makes the contract just be between the seller and the end buyer. And we get a fee, right, on top of that. So I definitely recommend to do that novation indemnification agreement if you're just assigning that sub-2 to somebody else.
Trying to sign into Company Cam so we can pull up the photos of the lead that came in last week.
Yeah. Our nice Kingswood house, that one. She's so cute. She would send me like 3 pictures at a time and then a long description afterwards, and then 3 pictures at a time and a long description afterwards.
So this is Company Cam. This is, again, I just like to show tools and resources. This is our Company Cam. We use it for all of our properties, subject properties, yada, yada, yada.
I love Company Cam because then the pictures are saved there too, because sometimes a property will come back around to you like a year later and you don't want to be like, I know I went to that house. I know I took pictures of that house, like scrolling through your photos. And this, with Company Cam, you can also delete the house pictures off your phone, which is nice.
Free up the space.
Free up the space, yeah. So
where are we starting?
it's actually better in
are
Company
those
Cam.
pancakes?
What? Yeah.
Bro, this just...
She sent me all sorts of pictures.
Come on.
And she sent me before and after, and I was like looking
Does
at one
he get
of
more
these.
cancer of him?
Yeah.
Before and after of him?
No.
Oh, the house.
Of the house.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was looking at one of the bathrooms, and I even showed Nick, like, oh my God, look at this bathroom. She wants $2 million for this bathroom. Are you
3.
kidding me?
She wants 3.
But then as the pictures kept going, I got to the after the renovation part. So that was good. It's kind of cool that Company Cam like sorts them by when they were taken too.
Mhm.
I didn't even know that that was
Yeah,
something
these
that
are
it
from
did for
2018.
those pictures that I uploaded. Yeah, so this is when they bought the property, what it looked like. It's
Yeah, this was the photo, right? Oh no,
no, there's an even
was the
worse
other
one.
one.
Yeah,
good lord.
it's quite something. And then she sent me like models of, so this is how they redid the kitchen, and that was what the people gave them as the
Mock-up.
mock-up.
Love
Yeah.
Shack.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, how is this kitchen a $2 million kitchen? So I was very glad that more pictures kept coming in.
They make it better.
Yes, it gets
It's a
better,
nice boat.
right? A nice boat slip.
Hmm.
It has the lift.
She talked about trees.
She did, yeah. I don't know.
It's a side house. It's the house with the patio that goes out to the boat ramp.
Mhm.
I think, or
Yeah.
this is the neighbor, and this is our AC, and I have no idea.
Hey, Armand is calling me. The realtor.
Call.
Hi, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, it's Armand Christopher. Did you call me?
Yes, sir, I did. I got your contact information from Lucia Sicilian. She was saying
Yes.
that we might be a good fit for each other.
Yes, that's why I returned the call, because you didn't leave a message, and I would not have called you back if I was not expecting a call. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome.
Where are you located, for one?
Yeah, we're in Farmers Branch is our office.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm at Preston Arapahoe and near Addison.
Oh,
North
yeah,
Dallas.
there we go.
So we're neighbors. That's even
Yes,
better.
yes.
I like it.
You can come see us anytime. We have a very good coffee machine I
Well-
brag about.
Well, so do I. I'm Italian, so my coffee machine is several of them. So
Oh, I
thank you
love
for
it.
the invite.
I love it. Yeah, Nick and Tony Sicilian, right? Obviously Italians, so we had to
Oh, is
have
he
the good
really?
coffee.
I
Yep.
didn't know that. By the last name, that doesn't necessarily mean
Yes.
he is.
Yes. True.
But well, we won't go into the detail. I'll make fun of him when I see him.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm a big
So,
fan of making fun of him too. So.
good. Well, you could start by saying Sicilians are not Italians. That'll really get.
Oh, I'm excited. All right, I'm ready. I'm gonna write that one down so I remember.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a property I need for you guys to look at least give me an idea
Yeah.
if you're interested in it. If not, that's fine. I'll just
Mhm.
take whatever I can get.
Sounds
But,
good.
We could start with the address.
Yes, sir.
It's 213 Jordan, Jordan Drive in
Mhm.
DeSoto.
Let me pull that up real quick. 1 second.
Okay.
And what's
I
going
listed
on?
The property, it is a reverse mortgage. There is equity in the property, hopefully.
Okay.
I've already contacted them. I sent them all the paperwork. Lucia's going to handle the closing on it.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
So that will not interfere with our relationship, will it?
No, we'll be all right.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure we're up and up on everything. And,
Yes.
you know, we separate business and social interaction. So
Yes. And then the reverse mortgage, do you know the timeline on that, or what's the timeline for your agreement?
well, okay, let me explain it.
Mhm.
Since there's equity in the property, which means that there's not going to be a short sale,
Mm-hmm.
which means that the seller owns the property, right? So they can go ahead and sell it as an individual. It's got nothing to do with the lender.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. I believe they've already stopped the foreclosure of it
Okay.
because both people have deceased, and the daughter is handling the property. Now, I've given Lucia all of the documentation before I even listed the property to say, hey, I'm not wasting my time on this because both have died. I don't know if there's a trust, if there's no will, the father passed, the mother, all the incidentals relating to the agreements being able to sell it with the deeds and all that.
Yeah.
So I met with her and she said, yeah, everything looks fine.
Okay.
So we don't have a problem there.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I just know a lot of times those reverse mortgages after someone passes, they say you have, 6 months to take care of everything. But if you've got all that stopped, then that's perfect.
I have done this back in the day when things were bad. I think it was like 2006 when there was a lot of problems with properties going back to lenders and stuff. So I've worked with many of the reverse mortgage companies. In fact, Wells Fargo was a big one that I worked with because they did a lot of reverse mortgages.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know now things have changed, and I don't know what the rules are. I've had several others where the property of the value has exceeded what the loan amount has exceeded what the value of the property is. So I could still sell it as a short sale. The lender will allow me to do that. I have to, jump through hoops to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I know I could still make a commission because they don't, technically, historically, from what I've been doing, they don't want to take these properties back. They give them to somebody, they sit there forever and ever and ever. And this one I'm dealing with now that I just handed back to them, there was too much liability on my part to be able to try to even deal with it. So I just said, take it back.
Yeah.
But this one will work, and then I'm working on a couple others. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
You get things that's like, I haven't had this in forever. Now I've got 3 coming in. But it is what happens.
Yeah. I
A
understand.
little history on this property. It really is in bad shape.
Okay.
I mean, they vacated the property. They still have junk in it. And the neighborhood is a decent neighborhood. It's in DeSoto. So you guys, go out, assess it. And I'm tired of receiving offers from these investors who don't even look at the properties.
Yeah.
It's I don't like dealing with them because they don't know what they're buying.
And then they want an option period for, 30 days to be able to come inspect it. And it's like, just come out ahead of time. You're welcome to do that now,
Some of these offers are out of state people that are just buying these properties, and I don't want any liability.
Yeah.
So.
I gotcha. I do. Is there
Okay.
I'm trying to look at these pictures. I was trying to figure out the garage situation. Is it converted?
Okay, it's not a garage. It's converted.
Okay.
It's one big room.
Yeah.
They've taken a part of it and used it like a storage area, and then next to that is a washer dryer area, which leads into the living room area. There's some foundation issues on one of the exterior walls toward the kitchen, but you assess it.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know anything about if the HVAC system works or not?
I believe it does because they've been living in the house.
Okay.
They just the parents. I mean hold on. The mom, who was sole owner of the property, had just recently passed. In fact, she signed the listing agreement, and then she died right after that.
Wow.
So the daughter and her brother were living in the house until just last week, I believe it was.
Okay.
And they just said, I'm out of here. So yes, I believe the utilities are still functioning until they turn them off. So, or disconnect, because they don't have any money. They're destitute, unfortunately. And she lives in Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
so they just left.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely hope that we can help you guys out.
Yeah.
Oh, the bathtub for helping
Yes.
older people shower has actually been a really good selling feature for us lately. I guess there's a lot of people who need those who are
Yeah.
looking forward to them, so that's nice.
Now, would you remove it, or would you leave it in the property once you redo a property?
Yeah.
Are you saying that?
Yeah, so we've been leaving them in
Okay.
the ones that we've had, and they've actually helped. Yeah, it's because they're not good looking, right?
No,
As
they're
far
not.
as-
They're not. And
but
they're
a
worth
lot
a
of
lot of
people,
money.
yes, yeah, a lot of people have been
Yeah.
liking those lately. So,
Hey, now that I've got you in the phone,
hmm,
I need to ask you questions about something
yeah,
that's very important. Okay. Um, I've got a license since 1976.
hmm,
Okay, so I've experienced just about everything except recently now I am having issues with solar panels. I've been
uh-huh,
getting several homes where these elderly people were suckered
yeah,
into buying these solar
hmm,
panels. What do
hmm.
I do? I've got one now. In fact, there were two of them. One of them I just ignored. He has a nice house, but I just said I don't want to deal with it.
It's such a pain because all the solar companies have different agreements too. So
Okay.
you have to
Okay.
get the agreement for the solar panels to be able to
Yes.
decide what to do because some of them they'll let you pay out at closing, but then other ones you're not even allowed to get out of the agreement. It has to be transferred to the new owner, and then the new owner has to continue making the payments on the solar panels. So it really just depends on what that solar agreement was,
Okay. Okay.
what you'll be able to do moving forward.
Okay. So can't a person just say, take them back, walk away? It's
No,
yours?
I wish. I wish. The same with one of my sellers recently got a $15,000 HVAC system installed. And
Yeah.
once I finally saw the paperwork, it's a lease. She's leasing that. And so
Oh my
after
gosh.
she finishes paying, she's still got to pay more to keep the equipment. And so I asked, about those options, and it was the same. Either we transfer the payments to the new owner, we pay off the whole thing, and then I asked about, or you just come get it back because I can put a new HVAC system in there for way less than that. And
Right.
that wasn't an option. That's not one of the agreed. So it would just be bad
Yeah.
on our seller's credit, right? I don't
Yeah,
think
right.
title would be able to give us a title policy without that
Correct.
lien being satisfied or transferred.
Correct.
So it just really
Interesting.
put us in a bind. Yeah, same idea with the solar panels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about your company.
Mhm.
How big is your company? How many homes do you buy?
Yeah.
What's your, give me the little, rundown. Just a
Yeah,
little, what do
synopsis.
they call it? Elevator speech?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I think we're just big enough, is how I'd say it. There's about 12 of us in different
Okay.
departments, right? Acquisitions,
Yeah.
dispositions, operations, management,
Yeah.
right?
Cool. Cool.
And I say we do probably 10 to 20 houses a month buying and
Wow,
selling.
that's
It just
great.
depends. Yeah. So we stay busy, and I think we see a lot of the crazy deals, right? That have problems.
I know.
So if there's ever anything giving you a headache, it's probably something we've dealt with before and would hopefully be able to help with.
Okay, I have always been, especially nowadays because there's so many scams out there. I don't mind if somebody buys a house and reassigns it. It's okay because that's their business as long as they close on them.
Yeah.
I have done a lot of selling of my properties to New Western because I know they were really good at getting the money, selling buying them, no hassles, closing well. I've just been really pleased with dealing with them. But I'm getting offers, even on this house, that I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're out of town or what's going on. It's just scary,
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to trust a buyer that, especially
know.
who hasn't been to the house. That's the hardest part.
I know.
You know,
I know.
it's because how do they know for sure,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We have a like sight unseen addendum that we
Yeah.
use if it ever comes to a situation like that for some of the properties we sell, because like you
Yeah.
said, we don't want that liability. It's not our
Right.
fault that we gave you the opportunity to go see the house. You
Sure.
didn't. And so we have
Oh,
a
interesting.
addendum we put on for sight unseen that everybody has to sign if we do something like that.
Well, I think you guys will be able to help me out too, knowing, the pitfalls and what I should and shouldn't be doing and looking at and all. And I'm going to constantly use Lucia for all my closings just because, I trust King Title, period, in the conversation. So that's
Yep, Lucia's
okay.
wonderful. She's a great private detective too. So,
Yes.
any issues that you have, she's the one we go to too when we can't find somebody.
Let me give you a little history of who I am, what I
Yeah.
do.
I love that.
I've been a senior specialist for 24 years. I've been working strictly with seniors and elderly people.
Mhm.
I was a commissioner of the city of Dallas.
Oh, wow.
Senior Affairs Commission. I worked for Mental Health America. We put on hoarding conferences. I've done a
Interesting.
lot of that work.
Uh-huh.
I was on the board for Adult Protective Services.
Wow.
In fact, all of my business has been senior related.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, over the 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I even did Kenny Rogers' ex-wife's house.
Oh, that's awesome. My dad is Kenny Rogers. I'd always say like they even aged together to where they look exactly the same.
Yeah, well, she was a hoarder, and
Wow.
it was horrible.
Wow.
I'm sure you've seen or heard the TV show Hoarders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy that we brought him in for a presentation,
Mm-hmm.
a hoarding conference we put on by Mental Health America. I worked with them, and he remediated the home for me. It cost $24,000 just
Wow.
for her to empty this property.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad. It was small, but I've dealt with so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing I haven't seen. That's how and I'm sure the same with your people when you buy these homes.
Well, I feel like we're a great fit to help each other because some of
Absolutely.
these senior situations, I just feel terrible when, they've got to sell their house to qualify for Medicaid, like that sort of stuff. It breaks my heart. So if there's ever anything, that we come up against, I'd love to reach out and see if you have any creative options for them.
Now, that being said, let me tell you, I've minimized my business model. Okay, before I was out with all these different organizations and commissioner and boards and all this stuff, but I've backed off because of my age and because I'm ready to retire, sorta. But I work with two companies. Okay. One of them is called Medicaid Solutions. What they do is they help families get on Medicaid. So I get all of their real estate. Okay. So most of that obviously is distressed properties where they can't afford to fix them up.
Right.
Now we have to sell them according to the government for them to apply for Medicaid. We have to sell them close to market value. Okay, now the way I get around it when they say, hey, how can you sell this house so cheap? I have to send photos of the conditions of the property.
Yeah.
I have to explain why these properties are sold at the market they sold at.
Yeah.
Because they don't want these properties given away. Families can't buy them for $10.
Right. Right.
And so you get that. The other company I work with is called Elder Life Financial. And what they do is they provide a bridge loan for families to be able to move into retirement communities. a lot of them don't have funds except in the equity in their homes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking, at the price of them now, we're talking minimal $4,000 a month,
Yeah,
up
it's
to
crazy.
10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Because you could, from memory care or individual care homes and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I deal with with those two companies. So those are the properties that I get. Now, one of the companies, Medicaid Solutions, it was just a God bless thing that they are within walking distance of Kane Title.
Oh, perfect.
It is. So we built a relationship. So I had Kane Title meet with the title company.
Mm-hmm.
I had Kane Title meet with Medicaid Solutions. We had a meeting at their office. So they've built a relationship up for each other. So
Right.
it's a working relationship. And now with you involved as the purchaser of a lot of these properties, and I can't guarantee that you're going to be able to get them all, but I'll work with you on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my fiduciary responsibility, and I always say this, is to my client. I
Right.
have to try to get as much money as I can from these properties. So what I'll do is this is a different situation than one we're talking about now, but typically what I do is I list them. I look at all offers, and then I usually I tell the client, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to auction off your home. I'm going to put it on the market. We're going to look at all offers. We're going to look at who's purchasing these offers, if they're legitimate or not.
Right.
And then we will take the highest and best offer with the situation. And that way they feel more comfortable that they're getting the best price, what the house would sell for.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them I will list the house at a certain price that I think that it will sell for. Now, if I overvalue the property, you're going to get offers within a certain price range. Okay. If I undervalued it, you'll get over asking price.
Right.
So we will look at all offers. I can't determine what somebody is going to pay for the property. Now, a lot of these investors are stupid. Okay, they pay top dollar. They call Home Depot. They don't know what they're doing because they think I'm going to be an investor and
Right.
start
Yeah.
making a lot of money. So some of them do pay a lot of money for the properties, which they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, those first couple houses are always learning experiences for people.
Yes,
And I agree,
exactly.
with the overpaying sometimes
That's
for some
right,
of them.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I'm glad you are listening. I'm glad you had time to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So let's pursue this. I'm not concerned about the offers. I've got it listed. You've got my listed price. You go out there, you do an assessment. You tell me what it is you would offer, your highest and best price. I'm not going to have the family start nickel and dime negotiating.
Right.
I'm just going to say, this is what they're offering. And again, I have to present all offers, but I will at least make it clear that this is a company that I work with, that I trust them. I don't want them to think I'm doing something shady by steering them to a company. Okay?
Right. But
But
somebody who actually closes and does what they say they're going to do, it helps the process for sure.
Right. But I'll make a point to at least give you the option of saying, hey, this is the offer I've got. Is it something you could work with?
Well,
and that would be fair, don't you think?
Yeah, I would greatly appreciate it. That sounds wonderful, Armand.
I will do that.
Yeah.
I will do that.
What's the best way to see this one in DeSoto? Is it on Lockbox?
Okay. Front door lock, they lost the key. There's a chain that is on the gate, and I put one of these cheapy little dial-in codes because I didn't want a key, because if somebody lost the key, then it's It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the lock combination is 1953.
Got it.
That way, nobody could lose it.
Mm-hmm.
They may leave it open, but back doors is ajar, so you can make yourself at home. Go in there and do whatever it is you need to do.
Well, I appreciate that. And I should be able to go by tomorrow and get you an
Okay.
offer figured
That's
out,
fine.
okay?
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're not going out. You're going to have your crew go out or whoever it is. Right?
One of the pinions, yeah. Minions,
Minions,
that's what I
that's
meant, yeah.
Okay.
And then I wanted, while I've got you on, is it Thursday? Next Thursday. What's today? Today's Thursday. So next Thursday, we have an event in our office where we have a meetup. Other investors come. We talk about, you know, what's working, what's not working, any struggles that we're seeing in the marketplace. And I'd love to send you a link for it if you
Please
want to
do.
come by.
I
It'd
do
be
want to
great.
come by.
Awesome.
Absolutely,
I'd
I
love
do.
to meet you in person and say hi.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Do you know George Roddy?
yes, definitely. I know his data for sure.
George Roddy and I worked together at Keller Williams years ago.
Oh, wow.
I've been around a long time, so I
Uh-huh.
know a lot of the players in
Uh-huh.
business.
Definitely.
There's another one that does buying investor. I can't remember his name, but he's another good guy, real good guy. There's a couple out there, but
Awesome.
George, he's a pain in the butt. I'll tell you a funny story. I had, you know, the Campese's restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Well, I had his wife at a house. It was this was years ago, and I needed to sell the suburb, and I called George. Last person talking. George, I really need your help. I really need for you to buy this property for me. Please buy it off me. So he goes out there and he did. He bought poor Mrs. Campese's home. It was
Wow.
a situation where I had to get rid of it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, George is a good guy. He is a really nice man.
Awesome.
Okay, well, I don't mean to chew your ear. I know you got work to do. But,
No.
send me that link.
Yes, I
and I
will.
will definitely be there, and look forward to meeting you.
Yes, I look forward to it too, Armand. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, bye.
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 You said I didn't leave a voicemail?
Yeah.
Y'all all heard my voicemail,
No,
right?
I know. So I put up I was like, don't call him a lying fuck directly to his face, Jessica. I saw you get whiplash. You wanted
Wait a
to.
second.
He's going to get that in like 5 minutes and be like, call you back. Mom,
Send
I'm
me
so
the-
sorry.
Will you send me the invite,
Yeah,
the Eventbrite link thing so I can send it
I
to
have
him?
it saved. I'm going to put it in the peasants chat just because that's what's up.
Okay.
I kind of want to reach out to Medicaid Solutions. I want to go door knock next door to Lucia's
Next to
office.
Kane,
And,
yeah.
oh, I never knew you guys were here.
I do understand. It's similar to the short sales, right? Whenever he's working through a government agency like that, they want it listed. It just makes them feel better about it for whatever reason. It's frustrating because we like not listed properties.
Yeah, so like this property that he pulled up, I mean, obviously you didn't run comps or anything on it, but it's listed. So is there anything potentially that you could provide or an offer, right? So what's your thought process
We
on
don't
this?
typically like listed houses, right? It is what it is. There's not much room for a wholesale deal, but it could have a great opportunity for a flip or even like, I guess it would still be a flip, but like the paint and carpet and relist, right? Sometimes that one can get you money, but whenever you have all of the closing costs and realtor fees involved, that's what makes it a little bit more challenging. But whenever we're making an offer on a listed property, we don't say we're going to cover all the closing costs. We don't say we're going to cover the fees, right? So you just have to pay attention to what type of offer you're making, if it's on a listed property or our standard off-market purchase, and see if there's any way for us to add value. And keeping some of these houses that he's talked about as rental properties too. A lot of times these places just need to be cleaned out, right? After they're cleaned out, maybe some fresh carpet, and they're ready to be a rental property. So that's just another option, right? When there's full of junk and trash, and it's just not going to be a good listing, right? But getting the junk out, putting some new carpet or a fresh coat of paint, spending 10, 15K, putting it back out on the market for 50, 60 higher, right? Then if there's room, if there's margin in it for that, then it's something we can do.
I was trying to see where this goes because it's just a deck,
Yeah, it's very strange.
but all this has to get ripped out.
Oh yeah.
He said they have equity in it, right? So,
So my offer is not going to be I already know
Yeah.
that my offer is not going to be 248. Like, it's never, very rarely do you see a listing that you're like, oh yeah, I can pay that. You know? I did have comps pulled up. Because another fixer-upper sold for 200. So this one's 3.2, 1,500 square feet. And then
so this is 1,500 with a converted garage.
yeah, I don't think it
That's why I wanted to confirm. I was like, this is definitely converted right here. This
Let's
looks
see.
clearly because it's a horrible fucking front entryway. I thought this was the back at first.
yeah. So it
But-
still says attached garage, 462 square feet. So that would actually be, so we're at 1980 for the house now, actually, since it's converted. You can't always count the conversion square footage 1-to-1 with house square footage. It depends on how well the conversion
I
was
have
done.
I was trying to feel out where the garage conversion was, and I thought this was it at
Yeah.
first, but I don't think so. Wait.
I don't know. Seems like it could be.
1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, this actually could be.
Yeah,
1,
'cause
2,
the
and
other
then
two
and then the
windows
other
right
two right
here.
here. So
Yeah.
this was the converted garage, and he said it's split up to where the laundry room is, which is back here. So
I don't see a step down or step
No.
up, so that's a good sign with the conversion. Step down, steps up are a good sign that you can't count it 1-to-1 as far as square footage is concerned when you're running comps. So at least there's that. But you do have to pay attention to now not having a garage, right? Garages are important to a lot of people. It is going to make a difference on your comps. So I can run comps on houses that are 1,900 square feet, right? But I need to make sure that they don't have a garage, or if they do, I subtract for that. Or I could go ahead and find comps for the smaller square footage with a garage. And that's, you just got to weigh between those two.
this goes down.
It's a flood zone. So it's
Oh, it's a
it's
flood
not
zone
in
too?
flood zone. It backs up to a flood zone.
Okay, right.
So it has like where it says within 200 feet, 250 feet of multiple flood zone. It's like, yes, it's the AE and the X, because it's a creek back behind there.
Plenty of parking though, even without the garage. So which is nice.
Yeah, that is a plus. A lot of first-time home buyers don't necessarily pay
Yeah.
attention to parking, but as soon as you've dealt with not having enough parking once, it's something you pay attention to for your next place. Yeah, Spring Creek.
You can go fishing from that backyard.
You got to get across the creek first.
Yeah, that's the
Or you
best
want to
part.
fish in the creek? Okay.
I don't even think the creek is ever full though.
Mm.
The creek.
Yeah, so that's why, but the flood zone doesn't go to the house. So insurance wise,
Oh, it's
do you
actually
have to,
safe.
yeah, do you have to pay any for just being within 250 feet?
No.
Okay, so then you're fine.
I'm shocked that because
Mm-hmm.
his property line actually has the creek inside of it.
Yeah, if you look at the flood map on Realist, you can zoom in and it shows you, because it's out, right? Flood zone determination out. That's what it says over there. And then when you zoom in, almost.
It literally
then
runs
it's
right
like
up to it.
right there.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lucky.
The, mhm.
But no, as long as you're not in it, then your lender's not going to require it.
Cool.
It would be unreasonable.
Perfect. Perfect. What else do we need to talk about today?
No, that was about it.
Okay.
Were
Oh,
you-
did you want to do
you
the
are-
house?
Yeah, what are we doing with it? We pulled up
We
the
gotta make
photos
offer.
that
Yeah.
we were going through the photos.
Okay. Keep going through the photos while I pull
All
up
right,
comps.
that's what I was doing. Photos. That's actually nice.
It is. Now, the original, they did a good job on the updates for sure. It's cute. All right.
That's a guy that likes to do laundry.
Does Anthony have MLS access?
No, I don't believe so. Anthony, you don't have MLS access, do you? I don't even know if he's still here.
I know. 'Cause that's how I run my comps.
I don't believe so,
Okay.
because we were talking about differences of prop stream and deal machine and such.
Well, if you want to pull it up
No,
on
he doesn't.
Prop Stream or Deal Machine,
Which one?
this one, the one you're looking at pictures of. Because it's in Texas, but it's not in our MLS area of
I'm looking at
Texas.
photos of the dead person's house.
Oh, not this one. Sorry, my bad. I pulled up the wrong lady. You're on the right house. The text was one down from the one I touched. My bad. Here you go. Okay. Go to.
So he has prop stream and deal machine. This is the old bathroom, right?
Yeah. That was the one that I was like, they want 2 million for this?
The multicolors.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the elevator?
Did you see the outdoor shower?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that what
So-
this is? Is
yeah.
this an elevator?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
That's a shower. No. It was a toilet. It was a bidet.
So when you pull this house up on RPR right
So
now,
I was trying to run comps the other day on Tuesday. Getting my days mixed up. I was trying to run comps using Deal Machine,
Mhm,
and I think I only found 2 that
mhm.
were comps.
Yeah, I got to figure it out too because right now it still says it's 3 beds, 2 baths, 1,700 square feet,
Mhm.
and they have made it like 4,500 square feet. So sometimes it's not a good thing to be the biggest house in the neighborhood, right? So a 3,000 square foot house could sell for one price, and then a 4,500 square foot house could sell for the same price as the 300,000 square foot house because it just the neighborhood tops out, right? No one else wants to move into that neighborhood if they have X amount of money, sort of thing. So it's just something to watch out for. Biggest house doesn't always get you the biggest return. Yes. She wants to keep that coffee machine, just so you know. Like the built-in one.
This
Yeah, that
one?
one.
Oh,
Top
yeah.
of it. That's the oven.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a coffee machine.
That's fine. Yeah.
Fridge open? No. Okay. Looks like this is weird. Takes a picture with the fridge open. RPR takes
It's
a
like
while.
a
I'm
gnome
sorry.
house. It looks like a gnome house.
Mhm. It does. It does.
The guy likes waffles. Look at that. Stack of waffles. Is
She's
that a
up here.
painting?
It's a filter.
Oh, it's the
probably.
brickwork.
They did a lot.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They did a whole lot to this house.
Literally killed them. Why there's so many beds in this one room? You have 4,000 square feet.
I think that's the before. Because after they made a bunk room up top. It's for all those kids. Did you not see the 30 kids in the boat? It's for all of them. Yeah, this is the before. We're at the before times. Which she sent me first, and I was terrified when I was seeing the pictures come through.
Yeah, yeah. This was the photo, right?
Yeah, that was the one. That part's cool.
Yeah.
I want one of those. Where the bookshelf opens. In the last 6 months, gonna do 3,000 square feet plus.
They like that feature. They even did it above the.
Mm.
Oh, it's
Is that a TV?
Yeah, it's a TV.
With storage behind
With storage
it?
behind it. I could actually do that in my kitchen above
You
the.
could, at that spot.
Yeah.
It would be perfect, actually.
I don't want a TV in my fucking
Yeah,
kitchen.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a little necessary, it seems. There's one on
that's
the
a cool
other
loft.
side of the. Yeah, that's what they built for the bunk room instead. All that. That's where the kids are. And she was so cute when she measured. So she went and got the square footage for me, and she said, "But for the loft, I only counted it as half."
Bro.
Yeah.
I need that fur coat. That's on his side, I think.
Maybe she'll leave it behind. You never know.
My boss wanted to know what you were doing with all of his furs.
Okay, on the other side of the.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like it's crazy to me to have a closet big enough that you can have an island with a pull-out ironing board. Not even like, let me put the ironing board on top of this island that I already have. Like, no, it has a built-in. That's her art studio.
Oh, that's what that was. Good Lord.
Okay.
She's gonna have a problem selling this on the market. It's got too much junk in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. So I wanted to get her, so thought process, always cash offer first. That's the one you want. That's the easy one that gets things done, right? Option 2 that I wanted to present to her would be a novation, right? So for
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Hello.
Sorry about that, man.
hello.
The best part is I have no idea how long we were talking and when we actually went out. So thank you for saying that, Anthony. You're my favorite.
This has been listed for 164 days.
That it's sat on the market. Yeah.
Oh, it's still pending, or it's still on market. This one that I just found. There's another one. It's listed for 1.95. It's a little bit further up on the river. But like anything in that price range, I was trying to look at. Well, no, what this thing is a okay. Can't get $2 million for this. You're insane.
So this
But
sold.
it does make me think we can get 2 million per hours.
Look at these fucking places. This sold February 22 for 1.6, and it's inland.
Yeah, no, that's not. That last one though, the Lazy Oaks Lane, that was
it's
2.3.
across the street.
That's the one that is the closest so far. Like
Yeah, October.
that sold, yeah. And that brings because I was thinking 2.6 ARV, but now that comp brought me down to maybe 2.2.
Wait a second. It's not on the water?
I thought it was.
So did I. 243, realtor.
These places all look like they're being used as Airbnbs too. Yeah, that's on the
Like
water.
that, right?
Yeah.
But oh, it has its own. It
Surprise!
has its own inlet.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's on the inlet. It's not on the Colorado River.
Got it. It counts. The same. Same.
Is this the same neighborhood as this?
It's as close as we're gonna get, sir. Not all comps are perfect. You gotta just look at everything you can see and make your best judgment from there. Sometimes you have perfect ones, like, oh, it's a 3-2 built in the same year. It's brick. Mine's brick. They're the same size. Like, perfect. But that is not always the case. Look at this one that's been listed for forever. 1309 County Road 118B. That they're trying to get $2 million for. I'm not even going to give this lady $2 million for the one that she's trying to sell. They're trying to get $2 million for this thing.
Oh, it's right on the river, though.
Yeah.
This is a comp, Jessica.
That's why I had you look it up, Nicholas.
Look at this. This looks perfect. This is our #1 comp, Jessica.
Oh my God.
There's no way this woman gets $2 million for this property.
No, there's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah, and we're not even gonna give $2 million to our woman,
Oh my God.
right?
I can't.
Unbelievable.
I can't with you. But look at the pictures.
Go on there. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 beds.
And they're trying to get
Wait
$2
a
million.
sec.
I think part of it is
Jessica.
it's 3 lots.
2 beds, 4 baths.
It doesn't. It's a fixed. Like nothing can be kept in this house, and they're trying to get $2 million for it, which is why it has been listed for forever. When you have the covered circle drive like that, it just feels like a church to me, or a
This.
funeral home or something.
What is the
Mm-hmm.
what's the story on this? It's listed?
Yeah. Look at that.
Let me call the agent.
Look at this lovely picture. After we buy this one and sell it, we can buy this one because this one's still going to be listed after we're done with ours. I think they're trying to get more because it's 3 lots, but the house is on 2 of the lots, and they're long, narrow lots. So like that third one's not.
Total structure area. They're saying it's a 3,200 square feet house, but it's only 2 bedrooms? Are they counting the boat dock?
I don't know. They were at 2.5. What is wrong with people?
This is about the
And they
price
went
per square
up.
foot.
They went
that
up
you're
from
using.
2.3 to 2.5 and then went back. So I don't know who this realtor is, but they need some help too. Maybe it's their clients being an asshole, but also like that's not okay. Not okay at all. If you go like a little lower on the Colorado River, it's a lot more comps.
You mean down to where the peasants live?
And there's a lot of actives too. So there's a lot of actives in the 800 to 2.7, 3.3, $7.2 million range. So a lot of actives makes me nervous also, right? Because there's a lot of competition in the marketplace that you've either got to be priced better than or have a better house than, right? And right now, it doesn't look like we've got the better house. A lot of these comps have pools, which we don't have, and they're more of like a planned property, right? Like from the beginning, it wanted to be 3,300 square feet, not it was 1,400 square foot house, and then brought it up to 4,400, right? Like that's not. It's just never going to be as good as a house that was planned that way.
This is Natalie Bordeaux with Landmasters Real Estate. I'm sorry I missed your call.
This is the
Please leave your name,
typical
Uh-huh.
realtor,
and a
straight to
detailed
voicemail. So I'm gonna call you twice, bitch.
Oh
So
my
it
God.
actually rings. So fucking stupid. I fucking hate realtors. Do your job. No wonder why it's listed for 48 days.
Armand was awesome. That's all I gotta say. I liked him. I liked him.
You should have left him a voicemail.
I did.
This is Natalie Bordeaux with Landmasters Real Estate. I'm
Are you
sorry I
gonna leave
missed
a
your
voicemail?
call. Please leave your name, number, and a detailed message, and I'll get back to you. Thanks, and have a great day.
Hey, Natalie, how's it going? This is Nick Sicilian. I'm looking at properties online, and I saw one of your listings, 1309 County Road 118B, and I just had some questions about it. I wanted to discuss it. If you had a free minute, could you please give me a call back? 214-578-1007. Thank you.
Okay, this 1.2 comp is across the street.
When she calls
from
back,
the
I'm sending her
water.
straight to voicemail.
So that's good.
I hope she realized, I should never pick up the phone. And then she's all like, man, I finally had somebody call me on that $2 million listing. And I didn't pick up.
That I could have made.
Yeah, right. With showings for the property. Man, realtors would be so much more successful if
She
they
could have
just
made
picked up their
50K
phone.
on that phone call. 50K on a phone call.
She could
That
have.
she could have made. Yeah. If you were actually like gonna buy it right now.
What's a trust?
Everything, every single comp is like the super moderned out look. So that tells me I've got to give this house the super moderned out look for it to be competitive, right? Or I've got to find just the right buyer who is probably older. They like things to have more character than some of these new things have, right? But that's going to take more time, and more time is more holding costs, right? So either I've got to factor in $250,000 for three. It's a big house. $300,000 to make it look like these things.
This is where those people live. In that $2 million house that I was trying to call, they're absentee owners. They actually live here. Dripping Springs, Texas.
Yeah, that looks much more livable.
They left the piano. It's got a sauna. I want a sauna.
This is gross.
She pulled up a property. It's literally just 4 townhouses right on the water on the cul-de-sac.
Hope you like your neighbors, because y'all are going to be right on top of each other. Oh, that's kind of cool. They put their hot tub like in their boat.
So what?
Like, here's where your boat goes, and here's where the hot tub goes.
Oh, nice.
Right?
That's some shit Kristen Gerst would do. What were we doing with this today? Just
Okay.
so I know.
Yeah. So I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
say
call her and tell her you will offer her 600,000.
So I'm gonna say 2.2 is the
Did
ARV.
you ever ask what her mortgage is or anything like that? Like what they owe?
They don't owe
They don't owe anything.
anything.
Wow.
Yep. So 2.2 is ARV times 0.7. We're down to 1.5. And then I'm going to say 150 for the repairs. Yeah. And that's being conserved, like that's could easily be more to make it look like these other places, but I also want to get the deal and I don't want her to just never talk to me again.
For a more than 4,000 square foot, right? Like you're just painting it alone will be excess of 30 grand. So
Yeah. So that puts my cash number at 1.39, which I think is fair looking at some of these other like active things at like this thing that I showed you, that weird townhouse thing is listed at 1.5. So I think her expectations just aren't where they should be, right? But doing that novation route, I might be able to get her a little bit closer. That one's also scary because you got to deal with a listing, right? And there's a lot of actives, right? So for her house to stand out with all of these actives, I think is going to be a challenge. So I wouldn't even list it that much higher.
oh, you mean when we go to novate it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would list it at maybe 1.7.
You know what I'll do? I'll wait until this broad gives me a call back, the amazing realtor, and then I'll ask her what she'll list it for, and I'll use that as a number. You know, local professional opinion. What? It's a good one.
I don't even know if I want to list at 1.7. This is the hardest part, is determining exactly what to offer people.
So saying that right there, that last statement, I actually want to do a what's your offer exercise. So I want to take past deals that we have or contracts that you got locked up. I don't want to just put the address, photo link, and then put it on the community, and then just run, hey, what would your offer be? And I want to have them stand out, and then after that, we can put our contract up there and tell what we actually got it locked up on. I think that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. I think that would be good too. And novations are harder too because you're having to put yourself out there, right? So in a wholesale, I pay no money other than earnest money, right? I pay no money for this house or for this contract, and then I sell the contract, and ta-da, we're done. But on a novation, we're getting it under contract. She's trusting us, so she's moving out of the property. She's going to be paying for another place and this place at the same time for up to 3 to 4 months. That's what we sign our novation agreement at. It might need to go longer now, just with the way the market is. And then
Her only saving grace is then another thing to push is you're rolling into summer, right? So
it's a perfect timing for it, for sure. After we get the contract and she moves out, then we go in, clean everything out, and then do any minor touch-ups that we think we need to do for it to have the best chance of selling, right? So we would pay $8K, $10K for the clean out, depending on how much crap is left at the house. And that's just out of pocket, right? And you're hoping to recoup that or planning to recoup that with the sale of the house. But again, this is a crazy high price point. There's a lot of actives there. So it's something you have to be careful about. And then whatever money on top of the clean out that we're doing, we've got to pay for. And then once we find a buyer, have a buyer on the hook, and they do an inspection and an appraisal, it has to appraise for enough. And then it also has to, we might have repair requests, right? What are you doing?
I was just trying to see where it was in relationship to San Antonio. Ignore me.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's why everybody's houses look like Airbnbs. You know, they have the bunk beds built in already. all that
There's
stuff.
right next around the block is a Ski Shores vacation rental, which
Yeah, so you're just going to be out thousands of dollars to get this deal done, and then get paid back at closing for the listing. And so whenever you do an ovation, it's just a lot riskier, because if something goes wrong, the house doesn't sell, right? What happens then? How do you get your money back then that you've put into the property? You know, the seller gets upset with you because there haven't been enough showings, or, you know, whatever it is. Anytime you put money into a house before closing on the house, it's a risk. And so you have to make sure you trust the person you're working with, right? This lady seems awesome and I love her so far, but you know, a lot of times people can seem awesome until things get tough and have a different personality then, right?
I was just showing what I was messing with. Vacation rentals, they are in the neighborhood, so just another thing about knowing your area, right? Obviously, there are investors that hold these places. If they're averaging $400 a night, what's that work out to be? I don't know.
It's like 12,000 monthly rent.
Oh, yeah.
And I never mind working backwards with hard deals either, or weird deals. Like this isn't in DFW, right? If it was in DFW, I'd know exactly who to call, who to talk to, you know, figure out these numbers perfectly. But if it's a property somewhere else, it never hurts to reach out to some of those other investors, right? So if I can skip trace some of those Airbnb owners and say, hey, are you looking for any more properties? What would you think of this one? What's a good price for you for it? I'm working with the owner and I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I should offer or what would be desirable for an investor at this time. How's the Airbnb going, right? Because if there's 18 Airbnbs in that neighborhood and nobody's renting them out, then it's not going to be good for my resale. I need to know that ahead of time. So I don't think it would hurt to call those people before I make an offer.
To answer Anthony's question, we know, right? This is 3 hours away. That's another thing I was doing, was I was pulling up, when she asked me what I was doing, I was looking at the map and how long it is driving, yada, yada, yada. So, no, it's not something that we want to keep for our portfolio. But, no, it's something absolutely we will, if she bought it deep enough and it needed to, right? And if it's a home run deal, yeah, if it makes sense, it makes sense. It just comes down to what makes sense for the best disposition. Most likely, no, we're going to try to turn and burn in this and, just do a quick wholesale or something like that. It is a huge liability having $2 million tied up in an investment property, right? Just one. So I can easily go and deploy that same capital. If you're just looking at $2 million for a purchase price or 1 point whatever, you can go buy 6 other houses, right, for that same thing. So for us and our business model, no. But there is, like I was just showing you, there is business models that this works for other people. So I'm not knocking it, just not for us. So
we also don't have crews down there just ready to go, right? We have crews up in the DFW area that will drive hour, maybe 2 out, but they're not driving to wherever this is. What is
Kingwood?
it? Kingwood.
Kingsland?
I
don't know.
Down by San Antonio,
Yeah.
right? They're not driving to San Antonio. So that means we're going to have to find new contractors, which always has extra risk, right? So if it's the novation and all I'm doing is paying a crew to clean it out, paying another crew to maybe do some paint, right? Then that's a safer model or a safer option for us than trying to do the full flip. Close on it ourselves, renovate it, right? We're on the hook for $2 million by that point. Then we're listing it. How long is that listing going to take? How much are those holding costs going to be while we wait for the right buyer? There's just a lot more variables that make that not a good option for us. Yeah, I'd much rather wholesale this one or do the novation. And even the novation's a little bit scary.
Another thing that has just popped in my mind is also when you do talk to her, like us doing the AOH was another like pain point that we can solve. Like her skipping over probate and not having to go through that, us being able to do that would be additionally helpful.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know about the AOH process in Texas. A lot of people think you only can do probate. Probate's your only option. Whatever probate lawyer they go to is going to tell them all they can do is probate, right?
Well,
They're
also
not.
a lot of people think just because there's a will that irons out everything. It does make things easier, but also if the judge can throw that will out in a sense and say, no, the kids are getting majority of it, right? Or his one, because I know there was a Brady Bunch thing going on there, but like his 2 single heirs are getting the bulk share of it or whatever the hell the way it goes.
Yeah, a lot of times the biological kids get more than the other kids. So having family that's all willing to work together is way better.
Just like Game of Thrones.
Sure.
Were we calling her today or what were we doing? We don't
No,
have to.
I'm not confident enough in my number yet.
Alright.
I want to call some of those. I want to skip trace. I was planning to call her, but these numbers I'm not sold on, and I want to be able to tell her for sure this is the number, right? So I want to call some investors first, and then I'll get back to her later.
Roger
I
that.
told her the next couple days, so she's fine.
If no, that was a good call. I will save Trendon for another time. Maybe tomorrow I'll drag his ass in here. Tomorrow is Friday, so it's just recapping of the week.
Ooh.
If anybody needs anything, let us know.
Oh, maybe we call her tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, we can always do that. So we
We'll
will,
see.
again,
Get a
next
hold of those other
Thursday,
people.
bring it on out. It's going to be a good time. Apparently, we're going to have this new realtor there. So him and his
He's
old
mine
folks.
though. Nobody else can have him.
I'm going to Elder Life Financial.
Oh, you're just gonna skip over?
Oh, yeah.
That's rude.
Not me, Tony. So if anybody needs anything, reach out, let us know. Keep crushing it. Always fun. Peace, guys.